हाँ बताओ। सही आ रही है, देखो।
नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आता था मुझे।
चेक करो।
और ये यूट्यूब पे जाता हूँ रुको।
बताओ आवाज आ रही है, नहीं आ रही? क्या हो रहा है?
हाँ रुको, ये आ गया लाइव स्ट्रीम से ये। बेहतरीन बेहतरीन, अभी आपकी पिक्चर आ गई है मेरे सामने। ठीक है। अच्छा, आवाज़ आपने नोट किया, मेरी आवाज़ आपके पास थोड़ा लेट पहुंच रही है।
हाँ, लेट तो मेरी आवाज आ रही है। देखो वीडियो से देख के बताओ। हेलो। 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 Yeah, okay, so it's working. Fine. Good, good, good. Hello, everyone. We got two people watching right now, and other people are just coming and have come early on to test a few things to see if everything is working in order. And if everything is working in order, then we're just going to inform the people in our group and ask them to come in, join in. So we're going to, I think, inform the people to come in now. I have a friend on the other side, just asking him whether everything is going good or not. Just waiting for the friend to confirm. Voice is low. Voice is low. How about now? Dr. Hassan, how about now? Is my voice still low? Still low. Are you sure? Hello. Hello. Yeah, okay, so it's working. Fine. Good, good, good. How about this? Now is it better? Okay, okay. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you so much for the feedback. So I'll try to speak into the mic. I had a Bluetooth mic which is not working now. It was a gift from a friend, so it's not working. All right, all right. Okay, okay, okay. Good, 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 good. I think it's now we are good. Dr. Hassan, how about right now? Still audible? Dr. Hassan is a very famous teacher. He's now coming from his fake ID, not the real one. He's a very good teacher and a good YouTube personality, but he's actually trying to hide right now so that students don't know him. I'm just going to send the link, the voice chat. I'm going to share it now. Okay, okay, I'll try to do that. I'll try to do that. Just waiting in for people to join. Okay, so I have a question now. Please tell me about the new FSMB part. Which part are you talking about? Well, FSMB basically now has taken over all of the working of basically what happened was first you had ECFMG and then ECFMG used to do everything, but now it is now broken into two parts. So one is the mind health part, which handles mostly your documentation and other stuff, and FSMB handles your registration. FSMB handles your registration, so that's what they do. So what you have to do is now, if you want to give the exam, you have to go for the FSMB application and do your stuff from there. You have to fill your application from there. So let me just inform people on Instagram as well. Well, a lot of people wanted answers to a lot of questions. So I thought, why not just do a live stream? So that's the point of this. Hello, infinity mentality. Your message was okay. This is Hasnan liking your live session. It has just started, Hasnan. So thank you. Uh, yes, he's the brother of our senior Dr. Hassan. Right. So application part basically you have to go to the FSMB website and select whichever exam that you want to give, and after the selection you would get an option to fill its application. That's what you have to do then. Nothing too complicated in that. Okay, cool. Where is the link, sir? Link is in the group. Why are you messaging me? Link is in the group. All right. What about the payment? Well, the payment is broken down into payment is broken down into the first one, which is the starting payment, which is the ECFMG application payment, certification application payment, which is $560. Then there is the $180 that you have to pay for the notary, and then there is the step one or step two application that you have to pay. That's it. That's the payment for whole process. That's what it is. Okay, so I'd like to address a question that is coming to me on the DM about this is sorry, sir, cannot attend. Okay, so there's a question that is coming to me. I want some guidance. I'm an undergraduate, just given my final year exams. Want to book right for step one. Want to give exam second week of June before my house job starts. Should I book it as undergraduate? As my graduation date is 15 May, is there any problem if I book my exam now and take it on 15 June, 1 month after graduation? Well, there is going to be no problem, Zohaib. Zohaib Ahmed is sending us this question. There's going to be no problem. Uh, you can register the paper as an undergraduate and then give the paper as a graduate. There's going to be no problem. You can, however, make sure that you give your exam soon after you give it soon after your registration. You don't leave out too much of time because then it is just going to be bad. Then it might cause some problems for you. Okay. All right. What else? In Mind Health, it's showing CV accepted and no action required. Does it mean I don't have to do my credential verification again? Uh, this is a bit of a tricky question. Now, I don't know what CV accepted means until and unless you don't see the ECFMG certification accepted uh, indication in your Mind Health. You can't really register for your exam. You have to wait till you get your certification accepted. So what happens if you go to your Mind Health and then you go to the ECFMG certification tab, you will see that your ECFMG certification should be accepted. Okay, that's what should happen. After it is accepted, then it's going to then it's going to you'll be able to give your exam register on the FSMB. Okay. Dr. Hassan is asking us guide us on ideal time to start preparation for USMLE Step 1. I believe that the ideal time to do that is your fourth year. Fourth year is the best time to give your Step 1, because in fourth year prof you will get a lot of material that is tested in your fourth year. So that's what you will. That is why I recommend giving it on in your fourth years. It's very important. Only first aid? What do you mean? Only first aid is enough for the paper? No, no. You need U word. I did step one without first aid, so that goes to show you how important first aid really is. You have to uh, you have to choose U world as well. Reading first aid is important, but U world is equally important, if not more. I think U world is more important. Yeah, I am an IMG and I had my credential verification early 2025. Applied for my exam. You don't have to verify your credentials again if you've already done it. You don't have to do that. No, you don't have to do that. If you've already done that, then you don't have to do it. But you need to make sure that your ECFMG certification is is valid. You know, you have to make sure. After your certification is valid, then there's going to be no problem. Certification is valid, then there's no problem. Guys, you can come on the YouTube and you can, send me messages. You can comment here. Okay, you don't need to send me personal messages. Yeah, Hello, hello. Yeah, so UWorld is must. Yeah, so yes, the basics will be covered by first aid, but there is also you can say that there is also some, I might say, okay, there's also some trick to it. It's not that simple. Of course, you can use first aid for your basics, but what you have to do is you also need to, with first aid, you need to supplement it with a lecture source, such as bootcamp, which I recommend. So if you supplement it with bootcamp, then it is going to be bootcamp and pathoma. Then it is going to be enough for your basics. If your basics are weak, I did create a video on it on how to master your basics. So if the basics are weak, then you can view that video. But to answer your question, you need pathoma and bootcamp with first aid. You just can't start reading first aid and expect that your basics are going to solve themselves. Okay, I hope I've answered your question. Please guide us on the CMS forms. For step two, and should we do all of them? Should we do them after completing your word? Well, you are supposed to not do all of the. You're not supposed to do all of the. I was just checking if the stream is going good. Okay. So you're not supposed to do all of the, you can say, CMS forms. You're supposed to do just last two of the CMS forms of every subject. The last two, the latest two, I think there are 9 or 10. Form 9, Form 10, and after doing them, I think that's going to be enough. And you are supposed to do them after you complete your U World. Yes, the first pass of U World. Supposed to do them then. Okay. I had a question as I was registering for step one under contact information. It's only, well, you're supposed to leave it blank. Yes, you are supposed to leave it blank. So just leave it blank. Yeah, that's it. Just don't type anything in it. Also, when you register for the FSMB, make sure that your name is matching what you've entered in your Mind Health account. It's very important. Please explain the FNU problem. FNU problem is just basically FNU means first name unavailable, right? So it just means that some people don't have a first name in their passport or government ID. So that's just what it means. So what they have to do is instead of writing their first name, because they don't have a first name, they just have their first name. They have their first name in the last name section. So what they do is they write their first name as their last name, and in the first name blank, they write FNU. So they write first name unavailable. That's what they do. So it's a bit unfortunate because your first name is going to be like your last name. That's what it's going to be like. So that's a bit unfortunate. FNU is important to put in front of your name and in front of your name if you are applying for any exam or anything related to to USMLE. It's very important that you use FNU because again, it's just you have to make sure that you're consistent with all of your documents. When should we give the baseline and BME for step 2? You give it after doing all of your CMS. You give it after your first pass of UWorld, all of the CMS, and you give 9 and 10, and BME 9 and 10. Okay, you give it after your all of your CMS, and what depending on your exam, maybe 9 and 10, or what you get in those NBMEs, depending on that, you then either do your incorrects from UWorld or you do UWorld completely, the second pass of UWorld. So it just basically depends what your result is. I know what you're talking about. ECFMG verification or verification from a university? Which verification are you talking about? If you're talking about ECFMG verification, I've already told you that your ECFMG certification should show accepted, right? I cannot show the account, open the account here, but it should show accepted. It should show accepted. Dr. Amber is asking, it was trouble for me if I get degree online. Well, you need to have a hard copy of the degree if that is what you're asking. You need to have it. But if it's online, if it's signed, then you won't face any problem as far as registering for the paper or credential verification because all of that is done online. But you should have the physical copy. That's important. Having the physical copy is important. So try to get the physical copy. It should always be with you. But as far as the ECFMG is concerned, they don't really mind if it's online or something like that. Yes, so that's good. So if they are providing you a hard copy, then you should get a hard copy. So you're talking about ECFMG verification. The best way to confirm it is by, again, that I said, it's by looking at the ECFMG certification. If it is available, if it is saying it's going to say accepted. It's just going to say accepted, nothing else. Then you will know that you're verified. Your verification is complete. What was my approach to retaining algorithms from UL Step 2? You see that the paper does not care about about any algorithm, right? You need to understand that it's going to be a bit weird for you. The paper does not care what any algorithm says. The step 2 paper does not test algorithm knowledge. It tests your clinical decision making. So yes, you have to remember the algorithm, but you don't have to remember it like word to word. You have to remember that if we are doing ERCP after doing a cholecystectomy, you need to know that what is the reason we are doing ERCP after doing cholecystectomy in a particular patient. What could be the reason, right? They will not always ask you the algorithm. They will ask you any part of the algorithm. If they say what is the first step, then they're of course asking about the first step, but they will ask you anything about the algorithm. So what my approach was is that instead of memorizing the algorithm, which I could never do in 100 years, what I did was I wrote the algorithm in ChatGPT and I asked him what was the reason for each step. And when he explained the reason for each step, like this step number one we do because of this, and for step number two we do because of this, then I was able to make some sense out of it. And I think what I did to review is I created my own notes from CMS forms and NBMEs and UWSs. I had my own notes, so that actually helped me a lot to review information at the end. I just read those notes and I gave the exam. What made you decide to go for USMLE instead of local residency? Well, I can go for local residency still. I'm not late. But why did I decide to go for USMLE? I think I just like the people there. I think it is, to be honest, it's the best. It has the best medical education. So I wanted to study at where the best medical education is. So I wanted to try, at least get a chance to study from the best and try to be the best in certain field. Sure, go ahead, ask your question. Joeb, go ahead and ask your question. I think I've actually answered your question. You sent me your question on. Yeah, I've actually answered that question. Okay, so you're an undergraduate, right? So you can book your paper for the as an undergraduate. Actually, I recommend that because then you might be able to escape that credential verification cost. So I do recommend you to uh, apply as an undergraduate. So I do recommend. There's not going to be any problem. No, there won't be any problem if you take it after the graduation. There won't be any problem. Nope, there will be no problem. 4 crore PKR? Even I don't have that much money. No, that's not the case. I don't think that's the case. You have been misguided. 4 crore is a lot. I think the total cost of doing USMLE is $20,000, which is around 50 lakhs. And that too being very generous about your spending. If you are smart enough, like I teach my students ways to, cut costs. So if you know a good approach, an efficient approach, you can do it under 50 lakhs. 50 lakhs, I think, is the figure that you're looking for, not 4 crore, 4 CR. I mean, you can sponsor a student in 4 CR. It's a lot of money. 50 lakhs are enough. How did you made your notes? I made my notes on Microsoft Word. That's it. Nothing special. Just bullet points. Microsoft Word and bullet points. Okay, so since your assembly prep takes a long time, how did you deal with burnout? Keep yourself motivated over and long. I think the best motivation is knowing that nobody's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. That is the best motivation. And if you have that motivation, then that's not going to end. So I had this motivation that nobody else will come to save me. I have to save myself, or I have to give this exam myself. And that was the best motivation. That's it. I think we overrate motivation a lot. I think motivation is overrated. Relying on motivation is very overrated. I think that the best motivation should be the result that you might get. That in itself is the best motivation. And the best motivation again should be that you are alone. Nobody's going to come and serve food on your plate. Like this is a bit extreme, but this is a best motivation. You were FA once, then final year exams came. Now, what should be my strategy now? In my UWorld, well, if your UWorld and first aid is complete, like fully complete, then I would tell you to go and review your incorrects. And after reviewing your incorrects, you go over the mailman PDF of every subject, and that is going to be enough. Okay, so half a month, it should take you like 15 days to go over your incorrects, and maybe 5 days to go over your mailman PDF. I want you to do the mailman PDF. Uh, I want you to do the mailman PDF with your incorrects. So do your mailman PDF with your incorrects. Okay, and do all of the mailman PDFs, do your incorrects, and then give your NBMEs, and then give the NBMEs, and then sit for the exam. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, big fan. Thank you, whoever you are. What would you suggest regarding how to prepare for the new pattern 30 minutes per 20 questions blocks instead of 60 minutes per 40 questions block? Everything is the same. What I would recommend is in the first 2 to 3 block, let's say for example 30 minutes per 20 question block. So there are like, if you can see that there are 3 blocks of 20 questions, 30 minutes. I would recommend you to do all 3 of them together, or at least 2 of them together. And once you do 2 of them, then you go for the break. And then after every block, take a break. I think that's what my strategy would be. But if you see that there is a 20-minute 20 question block, right, I want you to pass through it. I want you to be very confident and sit through it, because then you will have a good momentum. So that's what my strategy would be. Thinking of MRCP after MBBS, what you suggest? Should I go for it or prefer USMLE? It really depends on your financial situation, actually. I will not recommend MRCP at this point. Uh, I think there's a lot of problem with it. So I won't recommend MRCP. I would prefer USMLE, and but still, it just depends on your financial situation. If you can afford, then USMLE is the best thing. Go for it at this stage. Which CMS forms would you suggest solve for step two? The last two of every subject. Last two of every subject. CMS form 10, 9 and 10, or 5 and 6, 6 and 7, whichever is the last two, the latest two, do that. A lot of questions. Oh my God. People are sending me questions on WhatsApp. I can't answer. I can't answer your questions on WhatsApp if anybody's watching. So this is a very informal session, casual session, not a long one. Just going to end it in a few minutes, and then that's it. This was just to uh, cater to the questions of a lot of people that are sending us in our DMs and we couldn't answer. So that's what we are doing. Should I do all the NBMEs? No, you should do from 26 to 33, and there should be a gap of 1 to 2 days, not more than 2 days, just 1 to 2 days. That's it. If you are taking more than 2 days in between NBMEs, then you're wasting your time. All right. I guess this is it. We are ending the live. Thank you so much for joining in and considering. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay. No, no, that's not a problem. Yeah, that's not a problem. You can solve Mailman PDF. All right, guys. So we're going to end the stream here. I have some students to teach. Thank you for your questions and all the best. Thank you again.